Today is about plagiarism and how to avoid it. Now, while writing scholar or research articles, one of the important tasks in the article is to remove the plagiarism or to avoid plagiarism. And so we have to follow a certain percentage of similarity index, and above that percentage the content comes under plagiarism. So first of all, we will see what is plagiarism. Plagiarism is basically using someone else's idea or words without giving them enough credit. Plagiarism can be intentional, like for example, you just download a paper from internet and use that idea or present that idea as your own without giving the credit. Or it can be unintentional, like you just forgot to include the citation of the paper that you are using. So it can cause serious issue not only in academics but in professional life, and we can see that how student or researcher or an employee can affect or have serious consequences to use a plagiarized file. It has been seen that if it's our first time to deal with the plagiarism, so we initially try to use some tips or tricks that can help us to remove the plagiarism in less time or with little effort. And here some tips and tricks that people try to use are given below, but they actually don't work. Nowadays, the tools that check the plagiarism or similarity index are very intelligent in the sense that they can find if you have used any fake trip or want to cheat the software, then the software can easily detect that there is something ambiguous. So first one is inserting white text or extra space. So some people do is that they insert a white text letter or a white dot in between the two words that can mask plagiarism. It is not going to work. Next one is letter substitution. Now some people do is that they use letter duplicates from other languages. For instance, student take someone else's paper and before handing it to the teacher as their own, they change every English O, E, A, C letter with other languages where O is written as O apostrophe, and they try to trick the tool plagiarism checker or the teacher as well. Next is replacing subject specific terminologies. In every field there are certain words that are used as it is because they are conventionally used in that field. In wireless communication we see that the word wireless, if it comes in a text, we can't replace it with without wire or on the air or some other synonym. We have to use this word as the wireless communication. We can't change it. And the next one is format modification. Some people, we can say, get creative in their own way or wrong way sometimes, that they present a paper in the form of an image or a picture. And the other one is change the order of the word. If you just change the order or change active into passive or passive into active throughout your text, then it does not sound good. Next one is blindly using rewriting tools. There are several tools available on the internet where you put the text and they convert or paraphrase the text. And what they do is they write synonyms of the words, and sometimes the synonym that the rewriter tool use does not go with the meaning of the sentence, and it changes the whole meaning of the sentence that or the idea that you want to present. In the end, you have to work on your own. You can remove plagiarism while keeping the quality of your content. First one is write the ideas in your own words with proper citations. What you have to do is just read the paragraph and without looking at the paragraph, write the idea or the paragraph in your own words, simply using your own memory and using your own vocabulary. So I would like to show you an example for plagiarism, and we can easily spot plagiarism in the content that is paraphrased from article rewriter tool. Now what the original text say is, you deplored the demonstrations taking place in Birmingham, but your statement, I am worried to say, fails to express a similar concern for the conditions that brought about the demonstrations. Now, in the first sentence, you can see that from plagiarism remover tool, the sentence are altered by some synonyms. Deplore is replaced by despise, although they both are verbs, but despise is used to regard with contempt, and deplore is used to feel sorrow for, like you feel sorrow for something. So we can't blindly replace it with the synonym despise. Similarly, the demonstrations, demonstration has different meaning, and we can't replace it with word exhibitions. So that just ruins the structure of the sentence and its meaning as well. What the article rewriter do is, you despise the exhibitions occurring in Birmingham. In any case, your proclamation, I am sad to report, neglects to communicate a comparable worry for the conditions that achieve the exhibits. So the comparable word is also not suitable here. So you can't blindly follow the article rewriter tool or blindly replace a word with its synonym. Similarly, in second sentence, here it is used kind of social analysis, and the rewriter tool has turned it into shallow sort of friendly examination. So there is a huge difference between social analysis and friendly examination. So they can't replace each other. Similarly, in the third sentence, so what we have to do is, as a researcher, as a scholar, even as a student, we have to paraphrase the sentence or the paragraph in our own words. So let's take the first sentence. Now what we can do is, in letter from Birmingham jail, this is concerning to the letter that was written from the Birmingham jail. King writes to fellow clergy saying that although they deplored the demonstrations taking place in Birmingham, your statement fails to express a similar concern for the conditions that brought about the demonstrations. So when you are quoting someone's text as it is, then you write it in inverted commas so that it does not come under plagiarism. Otherwise, you have to write it in your own words. Let's take the second sentence. I am sure that none of you would want to rest content with a superficial kind of social analysis that deals merely with effects and does not grapple with underlying causes. So you can change this sentence to, Dr. King was certain that instead of using none of you, we can use nobody, that nobody would want to be contented with figning type of social analysis that concerns itself only with effects and does not deal with root causes. So you can see that the sentence structure or sentence credibility or the information that the sentence is trying to convey, all this has been not compromised in any way. We can see the third sentence. It is unfortunate that demonstrations are taking place in Birmingham, but it is even more fortunate that the city's white power structure left the Negro community with no alternative. As this text was written by Martin Luther King from the jail, from his letter from the jail, so we can say, we can use an additional information. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. wrote that the city of Birmingham's white paper structure left African Americans there with no alternative but to demonstrate. And we can add the citation as well. If we knew that Martin Luther King wrote this letter from Birmingham jail, so we refer this paragraph to that letter. We can take another example and you can easily spot plagiarism. The text say is, at the beginning, at any rate, the idea of sovereignty was the idea that there is a final and absolute political authority in the political community, and everything that needs to be added to complete the definition is added if this statement is continued in the following words, and no final and absolute authority exists elsewhere. This is from F.H. Hinsley, Sovereignty, 2nd edition, Cambridge University Press, 1986, and pages from 25 to 26. Now, what the article rewriter tool does is, towards the start, so instead of at the beginning, the rewriter tool used toward the start, which is not an appropriate starting words of the sentence. At any rate, the possibility of sway was the possibility that there is a last and outright political expert. So there is a difference between the last and final, and outright is not a right word to use instead of absolute, and political authority, political expert. The word expert and authority are different words. An expert might not have the authority, and the authority might not be as expert as the expert has the expertise. So we can't replace these two words with each other until or unless we know that the authority is an expert or expert has the authority. So this is what the article rewriter tool does. We can divide this sentence into two parts. We can rewrite it as: the discussion of sovereignty has evolved from the classical notion of final and absolute authority in a political community. Cite this sentence that it is from Hinsley, 1986, page 25. And write another sentence: these days the term also encompasses the ideas that there is no final authority elsewhere. And this is from Hinsley, 1986, page number 26. So we can see that there is almost no plagiarism in this paragraph, and the idea that the sentence want to convey and the credibility and sentence structure, everything is conserved. So this is how we can paraphrase any idea by using our own words. The most authentic tool that is used to check the plagiarism or similarity index is Turnitin. Although there are so many softwares available on internet, but no software is as authentic as Turnitin. So the idea is give credit where the credit is due, but make your own significant contribution.